There we go. Okay, we're good now, I think. So I'll have coaches all the time that are like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to sell. Or even like in conversations when I'm talking to people, they're like, well, I can't do this because I'm not a seller. I don't like to do that. They'll bring up car salesmen. They'll bring up all kinds of people that are like door-to-door people that just bug you. And they don't want to do that. We don't want to bother people. We don't want to come across that way. And that's not what we do. End of story. That's not what we do. So I'm going to talk to you guys today about why you shouldn't be focusing on the selling aspect, but instead be focusing on sharing. What is happening? So why won't this go? There we go. Okay. So for anybody that doesn't know me, my name is Emily Power. I am a Star Diamond Beachbody coach on the Shine Dynasty team, but that's not my story, right? That's just, if I said that to somebody, they would be like, okay, like I have no idea what that means. I have no idea why I should care. So do I talk about those things on social media? I mean, sometimes maybe I'll talk about, you know, how successful our team is, how successful my coaches are, because I want to talk about what I do as a coach, but that doesn't make me who I am. And I actually wouldn't be where I am in my business if I didn't share myself, if I didn't share who I actually was. So I'm a mom. I have 3 kids, 3 girls. I have lost 1 pound shy of 100 pounds with our programs throughout the last 2-ish years. I am a wife of almost 5 years. I absolutely love and adore all animals, minus snakes, which I don't consider an animal. And I am like probably one of the quirkiest people once you get me out of my like anxious bubble that most people ever meet. So that is me. And I try to showcase each and every one of those aspects on my social media. So I talk about my kids a lot. I talk about my health and fitness journey because it's a lot of who I am. It's a lot of who I was before I gained weight because I wasn't always overweight. It's a lot of who I am now because 1, it's what I do for a job. It's what I do to help my anxiety. It's what I do to keep my like mom sanity. So I talk about those things. I use my social media now as a platform for mental health because I think it's really important. And I've always wanted to advocate on a, you know, public platform about mental health. So now I do that. I talk about, you know, marriage and my life and my family and my husband. I talk about all kinds of weird things, pictures just like you see in front of you, or the one that I used in the last slide, me with donuts, is literally like my life. Literally my life. So I talk about things like that. I share different things about who I am, things that I like. Last year, when I hit like a really big weight loss goal, I took a picture of me in like a really cute giraffe onesie. And my husband was like, wow, you're such a dork. And I was like, no, like this speaks to who I am. Like this is literally my personality. And so these are the things. If you're not muted, make sure you mute yourself. So I make sure that I'm friends with the people that I'm talking to so that one day when we do have a conversation or maybe we meet in public or whatever, people can relate to me on a variety of different levels. And they come up to me and they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, like I've had people in the grocery store and I don't live in a very big place. And I've had people in the grocery store come up to me and be like, oh my gosh, that thing you shared the other day. And I'm like, I don't know who you are, lady. I'm really glad that you like connect with me and you feel like you know me one-on-one, but I have no idea who you are. But that's what you want. I mean, not to be like creeped out, but like to have people feel like they're your best friend, feel like they know you inside and out. You want people to understand who you are. Beachbody and coaching aside, you're not that. Whatever your rank is, whatever your income is, whatever team you're on, that doesn't define who you are as an individual, as a person, and what you have to offer. Because they can go onto the Beachbody website and purchase any program. They can listen to an infomercial at 4 a.m. and purchase any program. They can do those things all on their own. So you're not there to say, here's my Shakeology, here's my Energize, here's my 21-day fix. You're here to say, here I am. And this is what I have to offer. This is what I'm giving you in value, just in being friends. So I want you guys to make a list. I'm going to go over this at the end of the call, but just to have it in your mind. The 5 people in this picture, so me, Kayla, Bonnie, Britta, and Natalie, we took this at Summit just before I actually left and drove like 14 hours with Anna and Daniela. We all come from different backgrounds. Not one of us has the same story. Not one of us has the same tastes, has the same likes, has the same dislikes, has the same marriage, has the same childhood. We are all different. So we have a different brand. We have a different group of people. We have a different target market. We have different things to talk about. And if we all stood there looking the same, smiling the same, dressed the same, getting the same recognition for the exact same thing, like, wouldn't that be incredibly boring? If you went to all of our social medias and they were exactly the same, well, then might as well just go to beachbody.com and get the stuff off there. But everybody there is different. We all have something to offer. You guys, we all have a family life, childhood, marriage, hobbies, a personality. Your life, that's your story. That's how people are going to relate to you. They're going to look to you as the person to come to for advice, for help, for support, because you have let them in to the things that are in your life. You have let them into the corners of your life that maybe they've never let people into those corners of their life. So they're like, wow, like, this person's really open. This person really wants to help. This person is letting me in. So I feel comfortable letting them in. You need to tell your story. We're not here to just post, like, I don't have my cup of Shakeology, so we'll just use this since it's here. But, like, we're not like, hey, had my shake today, and, like, that's it. Like, what does that even say about me? That I, like, hold my Shakeology, that right now it's a box? Like, hi, okay, bye for me. Like, no, that doesn't say anything about who we are. It doesn't say anything about what we have to offer. It doesn't even say anything about what is in that box. It just says, I want your money, and then go away. That doesn't say lifelong friendship. That doesn't say anything. So we're not here to sell. We're not here to make salesy posts. We're not here to do any of those things. We're here to make friendships, to make connections, to make, really, to me, a lot of these women that I've been able to get to know over the last 2 years have become family. They've become people that I'm, like, in a week am going to see and am probably going to be the most excited I've ever been. Because I only get to see them once in a while. But the point is, these people that we become friends with are our future team. They are our future coaches. So you want them to feel comfortable. They're our future challengers. Having to come to somebody, and I can tell you from experience, having to come to Bonnie and say to her, I'm 100 pounds overweight. I'm depressed. I am not myself. Having to explain that to her, I listened to her and I talked to her, and it was really hard, and then I shut her out. And when I say I shut her out, I don't mean like I was like the everyday, like I ghosted on her, I didn't talk to her. No. I blocked her. I refused to talk to her because I was scared. Because it's really, really hard to admit to yourself that you're unhealthy, that you're unhappy, and that you need help. So by giving people an insight into your life, they're going to feel a lot more comfortable coming to you for help. Coming to you as a friend, because that's what they're going to view you as. Because they're going to say, like, a lot of people lately with my, like, donut birthday shoot have been messaging me like, oh my gosh, like, that's totally me. Like, they're just donuts. But it's something that, like, people have in common. Some people like cookies. Some people like donuts. I don't know. People are obsessed with them. That's fine. But it gives people, like, a friendship thing. I'm a real person. I might be a health and fitness coach, but I like to eat donuts. So let people into your life. And I want you guys to really sit down. Again, I'm going to go over this at the end, but I want you guys to sit down and make a list of what is your story. What makes up who you are? How did you get to where you are? What was your childhood like? What was your family life like? What is it like now? What are all of those things that you see in front of you? I want you guys to make a list, because those are the things that you're going to pull your posts from. So post examples. I'm going to give you in the next couple of slides. I pulled together some examples of really good ways to portray who you are, what you're about, and kind of bring in the business as well. So post examples, your story. Always talk about your story from every different angle, it could be from like a transformation Tuesday from like last Tuesday to this Tuesday. Maybe you didn't work out last Tuesday and you did this Tuesday. There you go. That's something you can talk about. Why didn't you? Why are you today? Why is it important? Your vitals. Guys, the things that you guys can draw from like you could be posting 3 to 5 times a day on just your vitals. If you pick up a book, like, okay, because I have it here, personal development book, you read 10, 20 pages, maybe you got something, incredible from it. And you're like, oh, wow, like I could share this with somebody else because I learned this about myself, or I learned this about whatever. Share it. Talk about it. What did you learn? Why was it important? What lesson could somebody draw from that? Because you're sharing how you took it and then giving that to somebody else. Your workout. Share your workout. That is accountability. It's showing that you show up every day. It's showing that you're consistent, because if you're the kind of person who starts and stops a workout program, the kind of person who does 3 or 4 days and then doesn't do it for 7 days, and then does 2 days and then doesn't do it for 7 days, that your market isn't going to see you as consistent. So use your social media as a place to post that sweaty selfie every day in different facets. Maybe it's a before you work out and you talk about your workout, or maybe it's, something that you thought of, because I think for a lot of us, our like most intelligent times are when we're working out and there's no pen and paper available, and you're like, I have 20 minutes left. I hopefully will remember this, and you don't. But talk about those things. Talk about something that occurred to you in your workout. Bring up those things. Share your story. Share your life. That's what I mean by share your story. Your invites. You can talk about, obviously to some degree, there's like some personal private conversations going on, but you can talk about things like, if you get, I'm pretty sure that Bonnie did this the other day, like a nasty message that she received or whatever, you can turn that into a positive. You can turn those things into a way to talk about your story, or things that you were afraid of before, or if you got an objection that maybe you had, you can share that and how it affected you. So then people can relate to you. They can relate to that objection. Share your transformation. Share your life. Like, we're not just coaches. We're not just, into health and fitness. We do other things. We have a life outside of that. People are going to connect with those pieces of our story. So share them, and then be vulnerable. Like, if you have something that you are wanting to share, but are afraid how it's going to come out, afraid of what people might think, what people might say, or even how it might make you feel, you should probably share it. And I say that because I've shared about my anxiety, and it took me a really long time to do that. And I cried the first time that I ever wrote a post and shared about my anxiety. But it's part of my story. It's part of what makes me, outside of social media, become a real person to whoever's reading it on the other side, because they connect with it. I remember last year when I went to the Diamond Retreat in February, almost crying, talking to Bonnie about how I'd never talked about how I am a teen parent. I had my oldest daughter at 17, and I never really talk about it. I talk about it here and there, but up until that point, up until February of last year, I had never talked about it. Obviously, people in my hometown, people that I know, knew that, but a lot of people assume that I'm a lot older than I am. And so people don't think that I was a teen parent. But I don't talk about it because I was afraid of what other people might think, what other people might do, how people might judge me. It's part of your story, and it's going to connect with at least one person. And that one person might be that person that was confused, was hurt, was bothered, was lost. And now because you spoke out about something that they're going through, they feel hope that they can get through it too. So share the ins and outs of your life, of your day, of your story. And those are the things that are going to help people see the value in what you have to offer. So I'm going to show you guys some slides of some post examples. So this is what I was talking about. Oh, thanks. This is what I was talking about when I said, share about your transformation. So I stole Laura's and Britta's transformations. And they didn't just post like a before and after, oh my gosh, look what 21 Day Fix did. And then they were like done with it. They got real. They got raw. They brought you to where they were, and then they brought you back to where they are. They show you in pictures the difference between, what life was like to what it's like now, what our products, what our support system, what our friendships have done. Because it's not just about a Beachbody program. I've had insanity before, and I quit like 7 million times. It's not about just having the DVDs to pop into, your living room and be like, okay, yay, I'm successful. I'm down like 100 pounds. Like, that doesn't happen. People need support. They need friendship. And these kinds of raw, real before and afters show people that you weren't always where you're at now. You were once where they might be right now. So share those things. Talk about them. Get real and raw. And Transformation Tuesday, you should be utilizing every single Tuesday. Every single Tuesday, because it's huge for your business. Okay, so I absolutely love when Liz talks about her Shakeology, because she talks about it from, one, obviously, a personal standpoint, but she's talking about it because she has an immune disorder. I'm not even going to try to go to guess what it's called, but it's an immune disorder. So, immune deficiency, I think. But anyways, she talks about how Shakeology helps her. She talks about how, from a personal standpoint, it has benefited her, how it's making her feel better. That is something that somebody's going to relate with. It's not just her, like, again, my Shakeology box. Drink my Shakeology! And then that's it. There's, like, value there. She's bringing you into her world. She's bringing you into, what does it do for her? Why does she drink it? What's so important about it? And Barbara always does the same things. She talks about, all kinds of stuff. But in this thing, she's talking about, her life and whatever, and she just, like, has it there. So it's kind of like, whatever it's called, placement of some sort. It's like market placement. But you put something in the background so it draws attention. So you don't have to, here's my Shakeology, everyone, with, like, arrows and, like, lights. Like, that doesn't have to happen. It can just be there, to be in the background. But you want people to see it, to see that you're a product of the product, to see that you're talking about it, to see that it's benefits, not just that you drank it. Because there are so many coaches that just take a selfie with their cup and that's it. Don't just leave it like, hey, here's my shake, and then go on with your day. Explain to people what your life was like before. How has it helped you? What has it changed? What is it doing for you? Did you not like a certain flavor? Have you tried all the flavors? Like, share your opinion. It's okay if you don't like a certain flavor. It's okay. You don't have to. You're a human being. Just because you are a coach doesn't mean that you automatically love every single product that we have. Maybe you don't like to dance, so you're not going to be like, Country Heat's my favorite just because it's launched. If you hate dancing, well, then you're probably not going to do it. That's okay. But be real. Share more than just your shake. Share more than just your workout. Share why they're important to you, why they've changed your life, and how they can, by doing that, you're showing people how they can change their lives too with these things. Okay, this one is totally different. When I seen this picture of Liz, I literally burst out laughing. But anyways, this is nothing to do, either one of these photos has nothing to do with Beachbody, has nothing to do with coaching, has nothing to do with Shakeology, working out, anything. It has to do with our personalities. Like, that's what is going to draw people to you, is your personality. What are you like with your friends and family? What are you like outside of the computer? Showcase that. Show people what you're like. Show people the kind of person that you are, the personality that you have, because that is what is going to draw them back to you. So that when you do say, hey, so I have a challenge group coming up. I'm not sure that if you're interested, but I totally thought of you. Would you like more information? They're going to think back to all of these times that you shared about why your workout has helped you, about your transformation and where you were to where you are. They're going to think back to, some post that you made like Liz did that made them laugh, that made them remember you. And then they're going to want more information from you because you provided them with value. You provided them with information. You provided them with stuff that made them think of you when it comes to health and fitness. So don't just, draw the line in the sand at, I'm just a Beachbody coach, because you're not just a Beachbody coach. You're who you are and a Beachbody coach. It doesn't make, all of a sudden when you're like, okay, I'm signing up to be a Beachbody coach, the rest of my life now disappears. Like, that doesn't happen. You still have a life. So showcase that. Be vulnerable. Okay, guys? And then these things talk about, both of these are talking about where we were or where we, would be if it wasn't for coaching. So again, it's kind of like a transformation, but it's bringing people into what our lives look like during that moment, during that day, and talking to people about what we're thankful for, the things that, might not have been. Because I can tell you right now, can you guys see those red lines on the screen? What is happening? I'm not drawing those, so that's creepy. Can you see them? This is the weirdest. Okay, anyways, but you want to, draw people into what your life is like and why you feel like, Beachbody coaching has changed it. Why is the coaching opportunity important to you? For Britta and I, Britta's life looked completely different before she started coaching. Her kids were in daycare. She was working all the time. She was picking them up and dropping them off. And for me, it was going to mean that I was going to have to drop everything and I was never going to see my kids. That was what my life was going to be. So I share those things. I talk about what my life would look like. Or before, I used to talk about where I wanted my life to go, the things that I was looking forward to. And I still talk about that because my husband works a lot. So I bring up about how I can't wait until we're not just seeing each other every so often. So talk about those things. Get vulnerable about the things that mean the most to you. You're not coaching for no reason. You have goals. You have things that you've achieved, even if they're minuscule, even if they're buying groceries without having to worry. That matters. And that's something that is relatable. So share those things, even if they're scary, even if they're something that makes you like cringe and you have to hit post and like run away, share them, because those are the things that are going to connect with people. These lines are really driving me crazy because I don't know where they came from. But anyways, again, 2 posts. 1, Bonnie's showcasing friendship in the business, the retreat, all of that stuff, but also working out with them, being there together. And then a different way to showcase, again, I didn't do anything. I didn't, with my Shakeology bottle that says Shakeology right in their face, I made a Shakeology bowl, a smoothie bowl. And I actually had people messaging me being like, how did you make it chocolate? Well, I didn't make it chocolate. It just was because it was my Shakeology, but they don't know that. So it sparks interest. It sparks conversation. So you don't have to be right in people's faces about Shakeology or about a workout or about anything. You just have to be yourself, and you have to be authentic because people can read through authenticity like crazy, especially on the internet. So, conversations. I want to go over how to get through your conversations when you are talking to people privately. So that's how you be yourself and share and do all of that stuff privately or publicly, in all of those posts. But what about privately? What about when you're having those conversations and somebody gives you an objection, or somebody says Shakeology is not for them, or Shakeology doesn't talk. So when somebody says about Shakeology that it's too expensive, what do you say? Do you try to combat them on a sales pitch, or do you get down to their level? You get down to their level and you respond to them with how did you feel? What did you do? Was Shakeology really expensive for you when you started? How did you get around it? What made it valuable to you? Was it you were just going to give it 30 days and see where it ended up, see what it did for you? Was it becoming a coach so that you could up your accountability and you could help other people and you could pay it forward and you could make sure that you were covering the cost of your Shakeology? When it comes to time, are you just saying, well, figure it out, find the time? Or are you giving them reasons that it worked for you? How did you find the time? How did you fit it in? Are you having those kinds of conversations, sharing your life, your tips, your tricks, all of those things in that conversation? We're not here to convince people to buy a challenge pack. That's not what we're here to do. We're not here to be that annoying car salesman that is like, okay, are you ready to buy yet? Are you ready to buy yet? Like, that's not what we're here for. We're here to help people. So if that means having a conversation with somebody, an entire conversation with somebody just about how you made Shakeology affordable, how you found the time, how you found the energy, how the support group, our challenge groups help you, then talk about those things. Those things are going to add value. And maybe they're going to say no. Maybe they're going to ghost on you. Maybe they're going to say nothing. That's okay. Because you've answered all their questions. You've given them all tips. You've given them support. you have helped them. So they're going to continue watching because you weren't that annoying car salesman, because you were at their level, you understood them, you were helpful, you wanted to be there to support them without asking for anything else in return. You were helping them. So then next month, when you're going back through your follow-up list, maybe that person's ready this time because you didn't hound them. You weren't pressuring them. You weren't pushing them to buy. You weren't getting on their nerves because we're not selling. We're sharing. We're helping. We're supporting. And then they come back and they're ready because sometimes they're just not ready, and that's okay. But you have to continue that sharing mentality, that helpful mentality throughout everything, throughout your posts, throughout your conversations. It all has to intertwine because those are the things that are going to keep people coming back to you for help. So now take action. So many times we listen to calls and we write all these notes and then we put them on our desk or on our kitchen table or wherever we are, and then we never do anything with them. So that's not going to happen right now. That's not going to happen with any of you guys. Instead, you guys are going to take action. So my first piece of advice is to unfollow other coaches. Why do I say that? For the exact reason why when I showed you the picture of all of us at Summit, we're all different. And it would be very, very boring if we all looked the same, if we all posted the same, if we all made the same comments about things. We would not make anybody any healthier because nobody would want to listen to us because we would be boring. So unfollow other coaches because they're going to influence who you think you should be, how you think you should post, how you think you should invite. Be you. Do something that's authentic to you. Don't, be in this business and think, well, Bonnie's the number 2 coach in the company. I have to do what she's doing because that works. That works for Bonnie. That's not going to work for you because you have a different market. You have a different personality. You have a different everything. And that's what makes coaching so cool because you can be one of 400,000 coaches and be successful because there's nobody else like you. So don't take that away from yourself. Don't take away a huge asset because you think that it's a fault, because it's not. So start unfollowing other coaches. And then I want you to make that list. Make that list of your, what's your family life like? Your friendships. What would your friends say about you? What was your childhood like? What was high school like? What's your personality like? What kind of hobbies do you have? Write those things down. And then I want you guys to start picking from that list things that you guys can talk about, things that you guys can post about, because all of a sudden when, you're having a day where you're like, oh, well, I can't think of anything and I have nothing to post about, you're going to have like a list of 7,000 things, and that issue of I don't have anything to post about isn't going to be there anymore. So do that. Be authentic. Be yourself. It doesn't matter how weird, how vulnerable, how sappy. Be yourself. The worst thing that you can do is to try to fake who you are, because people are going to meet you at some point and maybe that vibe isn't going to be there anymore because you were pretending to be somebody that you're not. Be yourself. Be authentic. Be true to who you are. And share you and your experiences. Share what you have been through. Share why Shakeology works for you, why you like the flavor that you like, what your favorite recipe is. Share your personal development, what you've learned, why you hated it in the beginning if you hated it. Share your workouts and your transformations and those things, because then it takes the whole selling away. Notice how in this entire call, when I told you guys I was going to talk about sharing versus selling, I didn't talk about one versus the other because we don't do the other. We're here to share. We're here to help. We're here to support. We're not here to shove Shakeology down somebody's throat. We're here to help them see the value in it because it's changed our life. If it's not their cup of tea, it's not their cup of tea. That's okay. But we're here to help. We're here to share. We're not here to sell. And your business will be much more successful if you base it on waking up every day and being like, who can I help today? What life can I change today? Maybe that's not a challenge pack. Maybe that's just somebody that needed to talk to you. Maybe they needed your tip about time. Maybe they needed your tip about meal prepping or saving money or whatever. You're going to help somebody every day if you wake up every day and say, I'm going to help somebody today. So make that your mindset, not I'm going to sell a challenge pack, because then you might never sell a challenge pack. Make it, I want to help people, and your whole business is going to change. So that's all I've got for you guys. If you guys have any questions, I will stop screen sharing, and then why won't it? Oh, here we go. Ooh. Oh, there we go. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, pop them below. Oh, thanks. I don't know if my internet's being like stupid, but yeah, it's being super slow. No problem, guys. I hope it was helpful. My internet is being really sketchy right now, so I hope you guys can even hear me. No, I'm going to assume not. All right, well, I will let you guys go. But I will post the recording, and then I will share it with everybody so that you guys can rewatch it, or you guys can share it with other coaches, whatever you need. Oh, what am I missing? Perfect. All right.